What's that?
It's perfect.
You want to be that guy?
Wow. So good morning, everyone. I am the Data Lord. This is Codebug joining us. He's the Codebug. Just as I am the real Data Lord. This is Centralized TV, Crypto, and Coffee. We talk about crypto, drink about coffee, and good morning to everyone. We sounding good. We looking good. And the whole crew's in the house right now. We got just Bossy. I know Boss Don's probably chilling with you. What's up? I see you both. JV. Yeah, ETH is ripping. We're going to talk about that. And Indo, my faithful and true bro. Yeah, morning DV. It's the motherfucking weekend. Oh, Boston with the yeah. I see you, bro. Yeah. I donated my hair to a charity called Locks of Love. So I wanted to make sure some cool kid going through hell right now can have at least some cool hair. So but let's get into the stories for today, shall we? Shall we do that? We shall. So, looking at, I don't know what view looks good with this because you're like literally with me right now, and it's not Jaime. By the way, Jaime is good. He's spending some family time, so you know we're big chilling. So this is what we're gonna do. This is fun. So looking at Bitcoin right now, you can see, yeah, we're certainly rallying. These are days, right? And so if we're getting into the hour on that, and my dogs are barking, can you close is the door closed? And then let's see. So Bitcoin itself is kind of peaking. We hit 31, and she's not moving past that. We'll see if we rally past it. I know JV does a lot of trading and whatnot. So I mean, let us know in the chat. Do you think we're punching through the cinder block that Jaime's been talking about? I don't think we do, but I've been wrong before. So we'll see. Looking at the whole market, though, we can see Bitcoin has rallied 7.6% in the last week. I don't know if we still have steam just to keep going indefinitely without retracing a little. ETH pumping 4.4%, and this is amidst the whole Shanghai upgrade. So Bitcoin doesn't have any exciting news at the very moment, but ETH does. Basically, all the people who are doing proof of stake with ETH, they can't take their stake out just yet, but what they can do is take out their rewards paid to them from staking. So I think there's going to be a lot of ETH flooding onto the market, and I'm not surprised to see a pump because of that, because a lot of times whales will pump the floor so they can sell it off to noobs that got up in that price action. So we have a poll, by the way, on YouTube. If you would just give a comment on that, just so we can know what you're doing with this whole ETH situation. How you thinking about it? And we have Cardano 4.5%, and that's not surprising. It's trying to do a lot of stuff that ETH's doing. So I think we're going to see some parity, just where people are being speculative. And other than that, that's kind of the markets at the moment. So let's get into the news, shall we? And yeah, I gotta stay away from that BS, man. But respect the risk. That's what it is, though, right? So let's look at this here. Top Ethereum DeFi protocols, Aave and Yearn Finance struck by exploit. So, I always like to cover the security issues that happen, because I think when people see that the security issues happening in the crypto industry are not actually security issues on the crypto side of it, there's security issues on the people side of it, just having bad systems. So we're looking at that and giving credit where credit is due. So two of Ethereum's most popular decentralized finance protocols, Aave and Yearn, have been affected by an exploit, according to early reports this morning from blockchain security firm PeckShield. They're crushing it right now. The company directed a tweet to Aave asking it to verify a specific transaction hash. According to PeckShield, DeFi aggregator Yearn Finance is suspected to have been attacked by a flash loan. The exploit focuses on Aave v1, and the damage could exceed 11 million. Top ETH DeFi protocols with security vulnerability? That's a good question. According to Look on Chain, the attacker received a mix of stablecoins from Yearn Finance and Aave. Based on current knowledge, the attacker captured 3 million DAI, 2.5 million USDC, 1.7 million BUSD, 1.5 million TUSD, and nearly 1.2 million USDT. And Av responded to PeckShield in a tweet, "We are aware of this transaction and it did not have an impact on AV2 and AV3. We are now confirming whether there is an impact on AV1 and the oldest versions of the protocol, which have been frozen. We're monitoring the situation closely to ensure no further concerns." Okay. So Mark Zeller, head of Aave integration, that's the guy you want to talk to, the guy who's actually like connecting platforms, right? Explained in a series of tweets that AV1 has been frozen since December 2022. This means that no user can deposit money or increase the credit amount, making the problem unlikely but not impossible. So what do we learn from all this? Quit using old crap. That's what, like if things haven't been upgraded in a while, you probably should be a little careful, especially if it's on a platform that upgrades constantly, right? That's like running Windows XP when we're running Windows 10 and 11. It's like, yeah, it hasn't been patched in a long time, right?
Yeah,
like,
got to be up to date.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Makes no sense. So we're aware of the situation and research is ongoing. More info when we have more clarity, wrote Zeller, who added that V1 for offboarding has been discussed with a snapshot vote taking place in a few hours for governance to decide on offboarding. Smart. Thus, according to Zeller, users can in any case repay or withdraw their funds from V1 via the traditional app. The current size of V1 is $18 million, and the current size of the Aave security module is $382 million. Damn, man, we playing with some money over here. In response to a question from a Twitter user, wow, a Twitter user, nice quote, bro. Zeller also confirmed that there is currently no impact on AV2 and AV3. That's good. Zeller wrote, "To current knowledge, 0." So if you are a Yearn Finance user, what this looks like is you have reason to chill out a little bit. As long as you're not using V1 like a clown, it's no big deal. And so that's why we have to patch software frequently. When we're patching software frequently, it makes it so that even if a hacker finds something, usually it's already been fixed, it's been patched out, right? So it's no longer relevant. That's where you hear of like 0-day exploits, where like the day the exploit dropped, people didn't have any time to respond to it. So this is not a 0-day, right? No. This is like what was it? What was the year 2022?
Yeah, V1 was turned off December 20.
Yeah, so good 4 months ago, dude. We're good. Pump the brakes, homie. So pseudonym, I can't talk right now. Pseudonymous. Thank you, Brandon. Crypto researcher, Samsung of Paradigm claims that the version of USDT developed by Yearn Finance called YUSDT has been broken since its launch about 3 years ago. He said it was misconfigured to use the Fulcrum IUSDC token instead of Fulcrum IUSDT token. At press time, the ETH price stood at almost $2,000, maintaining its upward trend despite the fears of a dump due to yesterday's Shanghai hard fork. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Still moving up right now.
Yeah, that's okay. So what do you think about this? The Factor FUD? Do you even care about Yearn Finance? I don't know. I haven't been using it. So yeah, Twitter is now referred to as X after the baby. So let's take a look at this next article here. So Twitter to enable crypto and stock trading. This is our headline article for the day. And nice rocket, Elon. He's riding a tube of lipstick, just like a weird little dog. Twitter will allow users to view market charts and buy and sell stocks and crypto through a new partnership with eToro. According to a CNBC article, and we know we love them, grunts. I got to drink coffee after that one. Yikes. Twitter will roll out features to enable users to trade stocks, crypto, and other assets through the social trading app eToro. The deal comes as part of Elon Musk's plan to make the Bird app a super app. And this makes sense. You often see this where a company will have a really good platform and they'll buy a lot of partnerships basically to expand their feature set. Because why start from ground zero and try to develop something that's mediocre when you can find an application that's already doing the feature you're looking for, and you can integrate with it. That's usually a lot faster to get where you want to go. And I've done that with a lot of my career. I've been the guy who integrates the system. So the deal comes as part of Elon Musk's plan to make the Bird app a super app, and it will. Trading at the click of a button. So Twitter already has a feature that allows users to view the market data of a company through hashtag feature. A user has to search for the ticker of a stock and insert a $sign in front of it. For example, $TSLA for Tesla. But with the new partnership, users can click the View on Toro button to trade a specific financial instrument. Okay, but it stays on Twitter is what I'm hoping. Yanni Asia, the chief executive officer or CEO, as some people call them, of eToro. I hate that they did that. People don't know what CEOs are, bro. Please, as we've grown over the past 3 years immensely, that's what she said. We've seen more and more of our users interact on Twitter and educate themselves about the market. This is very high quality content, real-time content on financial analysis of companies and what's happening around the world. We believe this partnership will enable us to reach those new audiences and better the brands of Twitter and eToro. Fair enough. eToro, I imagine, is a little bit more of a echo chamber as opposed to Twitter. It's a little more of an echo chamber, right? So they're different in that. They're both. It's a joke. It's a calm down. So Elon Musk's super app ambitions for Twitter. So after acquiring Twitter last year, Musk envisioned turning the app into a super app that does everything. He has been vocal about offering services such as decentralized social media, micropayments, gaming, food deliveries, ride sharing, and shopping through a single app so that we can hang out with your mom. That's parenthetical. In fact, according to an April 4 filing, Twitter has merged with a shell company called X Corp. The filing reads, Twitter Inc. has merged into X Corp and no longer exists. X gon' give it to you. X gon' give it to you. Musk is also reportedly spending tons of millions to build an artificial intelligence project for Twitter. That's a big stuff that we're going to keep covering as it's developing. But Codebug, what do you think about this whole Elon Musk making Twitter an everything app?
It makes sense that Twitter seems to be the source of information for everything nowadays. News breaks first on Twitter. People interact on Twitter all day long. So using it for all of these other things really kind of makes sense in a lot of ways. It seems like the logical step for Elon to be making for his purchase of Twitter.
Yeah, but X gonna give it to you.
Gonna give it to you.
Yeah. So I know he looks like he's spazzing because it's an old picture, but it's true. Elon Musk offers 1 million Dogecoin for this. So what does he offer Dogecoin for? Let's talk about it. So, you're laughing at what the X gonna give it to you, aren't you? I know, Window. I know. What? He's that guy. In a surprising move, Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla and SpaceX, has offered to give away 1 million Dogecoin. 1 million Dogecoin. So you could be a Dogecoin millionaire. I think Regis Philbin should make a show called Who Wants to Be a Dogecoin Millionaire?
Exclusively crypto questions.
Yeah, only to anyone who can provide proof of the existence of a mystery emerald mine that has been attributed to his family by some media outlets. Oh, that's funny. So basically media outlets are saying that Elon's family owns some emerald mine, and he's like, look, if you can find this hypothetical emerald mine I don't know about, I'll give you $1 million.
People searching the emerald locks right now.
That's fire. I'm with it. So the quest began when a designer at Dogecoin claimed that Elon Musk had never owned an emerald mine and offered 69,420. Nice. Doge to any media outlet that could provide proof of his existence. You forgot 360 no scope on this too. Yeah. This prompted Musk to step in and up the ante, offering a whopping 1 million Dogecoin for the same evidence. I'm so with this. The mystery mine. The rumor that Musk's family owned an emerald mine in Africa allegedly dates back to 2014. Back then, Elon Musk may have admitted in a now deleted Forbes interview that his father owned such a mine in Zambia. However, the article itself has already been deleted, and all that remains is the web archive page. If you say so, buddy. It's unclear whether the rumor that Musk's family allegedly owns the mine are true, but it is clear that the billionaire is keen to put the matter to rest once and for all. Regardless of his motives, the generous bounty has certainly caught the attention of cryptocurrency enthusiasts and treasure hunters alike. It remains to be seen if anyone will be able to prove or to provide the proof that Musk is looking for. But one thing is certain: the search for the mystery emerald mine is on. So, yeah, I think Elon Musk should be the new leprechaun, and we should just create this entire like lore around him.
Yes.
Instead of a pot of gold, it's a
Pot of emerald coin.
it's a pot of Dogecoin, you know.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay. So I don't even think he owns one. What do you think Elon's family owns an emerald mine?
No.
Let us know.
No.
Let me know.
If he does, the Dogecoin has to change to an emerald
Yeah.
version of Dogecoin instead.
So I wanted to talk about this. I know a lot of doom and gloom's happening right now with the economy. I work in tech, CodeBug works in tech, and so the whole crypto space is built largely by tech. And so I wanted to kind of talk about this a little bit because building in the crypto space is how we make things we want to see. We make applications go faster, work better. And Web3 is blowing up beyond just crypto. It's blowing up using the same architecture that crypto introduced with Bitcoin, but it's applying it to a lot of other types of data, right? And so having basically decentralized power, but to do all that, you do need all these different disciplines, right? So 5 high-paying IT jobs that don't require a degree. And I want you to hear this because this might be the angle you need to move in if you're not happy with where your life's headed at the current moment. So here are 5 high-paying IT jobs that don't require a degree: software developers, cybersecurity analysts, database administrators, network administrators, and web developers. And I have certifications under my belt, but I dropped out of college because it wasn't taking me the direction I wanted to go. I wanted to be on the cutting edge of tech. And you can probably get in some colleges that do that, but I was just moving faster by not going through a college curriculum. So you might find yourself in that same situation. There are various factors behind the trend of high-paying IT jobs not requiring a degree, such as the industry's focus on practical skills and experience, and the significant demand for talent in the field. Employers often value candidates who can demonstrate their skills through real-world projects and specialized certifications rather than solely relying on formal education. And I can tell you from my experience, that's exactly been what I've seen. Like, companies are like, look, I don't care what your credentials are. I have this, email system. Can you move it to the cloud? That's all I care about. Can you do that? If you can, I have money to pay you for it. And if you, do a really good job with that, I have other projects behind that I'll pay you really well for. And once you do that, you've already kind of set a precedent that you're good at this. And so this applies to a lot of Web3 projects too, because if you are working with a lot of these like passion projects and you're proving that you are good at making a web page, or you are good at, connecting RPCs and APIs and making a crypto app, once you've done that, you have a portfolio that you can show people and they'll say, oh, wow, you're totally qualified. We'll pay you this salary for it. And it's a really pretty 6-figure number, right? So that's well within the realm of reality. And the other issue the reason I'm covering this is there is such a huge demand for people with these skills, but there's not enough people with these skills to fill the roles, right? And so if you want to make good money and you want to help, move the world in the direction we want to see it moved in, we need to increase our skills and get out there and actually start building stuff and not just hoping that something nice comes out, right? So let's talk about this. Furthermore, the availability of online resources, coding boot camps, and specialized training programs, individuals can develop their skills and gain practical experience without pursuing a traditional degree. As a result, having a strong portfolio of work and relevant experience can often qualify individuals for high-paying IT jobs, regardless of their educational background. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, if you have a can-do attitude, and whenever I hire people, this is what I look for. If you have a can-do attitude and the aptitude to read the manual, actually do some reasonable testing, reboot the machine, make sure it's all working reasonably, and if it's still not working, then escalate. Like, those skill sets let you be really successful, because the internet has a ton of online resources, and there's a bunch of communities where if you do run into a technical issue, you say, hey, here's the error I found. I'm trying to make this thing do this, and it's not working like this documentation expects. Here's the link to the documentation. Here's all the things I've tried so far. Does anyone else have an idea? And a whole lot of other people will gladly help each other because they want to have someone else helping them whenever they're in a hard spot. And everyone having distributed experience makes it so that if we all kind of help each other, we all kind of get where we want to go. And so that's why, like, does a crypto project have a big community around it? That's why that's so important, is because if it has a dead community, it means people aren't developing on it actively. People aren't like looking to take it from where it is to, where the roadmap says it's going to be. So that's where projects go up in value, right? And Indo, he knows this. This dude is a community builder. He's saying, flex on it with the community, because like that's real. And we're trying to build that on our DCTV Discord. So if you do have questions, like, I'm pretty time poor, but I certainly can point you in the right direction if you have questions, and make sure you're barking up the right tree, connect you with things so that you're shortcutted and not spin your wheels doing something that's not really productive, right? So
good community on there. Everybody should join.
Yeah, and in your career, this has exactly been the case too, where
Absolutely.
like you'll run into some error that you've never seen before, and you just consult the documentation properly. And
yeah, I mean, I went to college for a degree. I got that degree and immediately went into something totally different with my tech career. So,
right.
I completely agree with this article as far as you should be learning on the job more than anything else, in all honesty. The majority of jobs actually getting the degree is just, hey, I have an aptitude to learn. When you're in the job, they're going to train you the way they want you to be trained, and you're going to have to figure things out as they come up. And as long as you have an attitude of, hey, I can do that, and if I can't do it, I'm going to figure out how to do it, you're going to be more successful.
Yeah. And from my perspective, like, as an architect, typically, if someone comes to me and says like, hey, I have an issue, but they've done zero troubleshooting on it, I'm going to get pissed at them. And I'm not pissed because they asked me a question. They can ask me a question. I'm pissed because they're having me do their job. I'm pissed because they didn't do basic things like, did you turn it off and back on again? Did you capture the error? Did you Google the error? Did you look in the documentation to see what the configuration needed to be? That type of stuff. Like, you don't have to be a genius to do that. That's just protocol. You follow that protocol and like, dude, I'm at a dead end. I don't know where to go. Talk to me. I'm going to hook you up. Like, we're going to figure out where to go next. But if you didn't do that legwork first, I'm going to probably grill you a little bit. I'll be funny about it, but like, I'm going to hit you with some spicy time. Right. So yeah, you can certainly get into software development. That's actually developing code. A lot of people like software development because, they can kind of turn on their own music and just be in their own zone. And a lot of introverts are specifically adept at software developing. But there's a second form of software developing that is very common, and it's called pair programming. And, I'm an extrovert. Surprise, surprise. And I love to be around people. I love to talk with people and bounce ideas and let the, atoms collide and let all that energy be there. And so for me, I do enjoy going through reading documentation with other people and trying to figure it out together. And then when we are coding and solving problems together, I'm able to bounce ideas off of other people who may not be as extroverted as me, but together we're able to solve the problems because we're thinking about the problem differently, right? And so no matter whether you're into just being in a room by yourself, for large parts of the day, or whether you want to be with other people, like there's a way to work that does make sense, right? So software developer jobs have become more accessible to those without a degree due to several factors. First off, many firms in the sector place a higher priority on ability and practical experience than on formal education. This implies that candidates without a degree will have a solid body of work or real-world projects that can still be evaluated for employment as software developers. And you see this a ton, right? You see this where in crypto, actually, tons of people get their first foray into software development by being in crypto, because they'll have some crypto project they're into, right? And they'll just be on the Discord. They'll be like, "Hey, how can I help?" They'll be on the GitHub checking it out, and they'll have some things that they're like trying to get people to work on. All you have to do is fork the code on whatever you're looking to do and try to learn it and figure it out. You can ask questions in the Discord. People might even answer. And if you can contribute some little feature or some little bug fix or something, then that now goes onto your GitHub. Your GitHub now has history that you have contributed to a production project, a community project, and they can look at your code and see how solid it is and whatnot. In addition to that, whenever they're interviewing you, they'll literally give you some problem. They'll be like, "Hey, we're trying to build this hypothetical application that does these things. We'll give you 2 hours to program that, and we'll review your code after it." And they just leave you alone. And so they're trying to see if you're full of crap or not, right? And if you've already proven to yourself you know how to solve those types of problems, you're going to be fine. And if not, it's okay. You shouldn't have gotten the job. You need to go get some more experience, right? And so I recommend, if that sounds interesting to you, you really do look at going into a coding bootcamp. There's a website and a YouTube channel called Free Code Camp, and I've gotten a ton of value from them and solved a lot of crypto problems even by their whole platform. There's also a really good website called codecademy.com, and I've gone through that too, learning how to do like Python scripting, that type of thing. It's really nice. It's go to your own pace, and it's really practical and visual. So cybersecurity analyst, this is a big piece of what I do as well, where I have to look at all the different security controls and figure out, like, is this locked down properly, or could someone technically phish credentials and get somewhere they shouldn't be able to. And there's a bunch of stuff that you can throw in: secure passwords, multi-factor authentication, making sure ports are closed and only necessary ports are open, making sure you have more complex logic, right? So only people from a specific computer can access certain IP addresses and whatnot. That makes it so that things only work the way you want them to work. And if someone comes outside of that, context, they're going to run into a brick wall. And so there's a big need for that, because you've seen this, like some project will get pwned, and what happens? People talk shit about it, and they bounce, and it loses a ton of value and ton of steam. So we got to protect things we care about by just making sure we have good security practices, right? So and then database admins, all these programs you're using, anytime you type in data that's being referenced, there's a big database behind it. And blockchain is a database. Blockchain is a type of database. And there's other types of databases too. There's like relational, non-relational databases, MongoDB. There's, SQL databases, NoSQL. So there's all these different things under the hood that are necessary for a web page to be built, for an application to be built. And people have to be good at keeping these databases right. And there's really good, Oracle has a good certification for this. So does Microsoft. They have like a database expert cert, and you can go through that stuff. Once you get that certification, you can get into these DB jobs, and there's tons of them. They pay really well too. Like some of the floor prices on these are like 120K, and there's bonuses attached to that too, based on company performance. So look into that if that's interesting to you. Network admins, they plug stuff in and connect stuff, right? So they're making sure that all these different network nodes line up. So in Bitcoin mining, this is really big. This is actually how I got into IT originally. I was modding Xboxes and doing a lot of that type of stuff. And I had to learn a lot of network administrator work. And so, when you're dealing with like Bitcoin ASICs and whatnot, this is a huge discipline because you're plugging in lots of different ASICs. You're plugging them into like switches that are just connecting them to the network. Those are low speed switches. And then you have these high speed switches, those low speed switches connect to, and then you have load balancers and security appliances, and all that stuff has to work correctly for Bitcoin mining to function right. And you can, if you set it up right, you can see if there's issues. You can see if there's any ASICs on your network that are underperforming or getting too hot. You go and look at them, they're dirty, they need to be cleaned. So if you do want to contribute, not just to mining, but even proof of stake projects, this is a big piece that you have to really get into. And yeah, the CompTIA Network Plus is a great cert for that. And so is the Cisco Certified Network Associate, the CCNA. That's a really, really solid cert for networking. If you get this, you got a job. Like, good luck not having a job. Right. You might not even update your resume, and you're going to get phone calls of people saying, hey, you want a job. So like, you're going to get really good job security with that. And then web developers, this is a really easy way to get in because most of web development is front end. It's making stuff look pretty. It's not difficult. A lot of web design is even graphic based. So if you use like WordPress, for example, and you're using tools like Elementor, or you're using themes that have basically low code blocks, you just say, hey, I want a section here that has 3 different columns, and it pops it up. And then you click and drag a picture block and you drop it where you want, and you just pick the picture you want there. It's very low code, but if you can deliver quickly on polished projects, there's a lot of people who pay you good money for that, especially if you know what you're doing. And then there is coding that you'll naturally learn along the way with that, but you can get into it without being heavy on code. Right. So strong recommendation to at least dabble with that. Don't fall for that Squarespace stuff. Actually go and get into like a WordPress site or a Joomla site or a Drupal site, right? Like do the real production stuff. But once you do build web pages, you got a portfolio, dude, and people can look at, oh, you've made these sites. I see. Yeah, here's some money. And if you're quick with it, a lot of places will pay you based on per website. And so you can make some good money per website. And if it only takes you like, I don't know, if it takes you like 3 hours to spin up a site, they don't care if it takes you 3 hours or if it takes you 3 days. They're going to pay you the same. And so if you can increase the velocity, you can really crank up how much money you make. So yeah, so please be a builder in Web3. If any of that's interesting to you, don't hesitate at all. Jump in our Discord, talk to me about what you're looking to do. I'll point you in the right direction and encourage you along the way. And if your project ends up being super dope, we might even cover it on the show. So please be active there. Yeah. So if ETH dumps, will BTC dump with it? Shake my head. I don't think BTC is attached to ETH. I think ETH is attached to BTC. And so I think if ETH dumps, I don't think the Bitcoin price dumps substantially. I think BTC's price will drop if BTC's RSI goes low. If it runs out of buying steam, I think you'll probably see that. But it is possible people are dumping ETH profits and they'll throw them into Bitcoin. Bitcoin will pump a little bit. People will take those profits, and then we'll see a retracement because we're overextended. But yeah, one more dump so we can scoop up some more, and I think we will. I'm thinking we do a mini rally and then we kind of head on down to the basement again. But I don't know. Drink your coffee, kids. You drink it all. Dang it! Come on, man. So hope everyone's enjoying the show. If you would give us a like and subscribe. It helps us get found and help other people level up and stop being noobs. We gotta help the noobs these days. So privacy preserving payments should not be niche. Monero contributor Justin E. Rohrhofer says. This guy's name looks like he's from Lord of the Rings, doesn't he? Aaron Hofer.
That or Germany.
Which you know, same difference. They're elves. They're an elven people making magic arts over there. So, so let's look at this. And I totally agree with this idea, though, that like crypto was made to be private in the first place. Can we stop acting like that's a niche? Can we just prioritize pseudo anonymity and privacy and get back to where we were intentionally heading with crypto when it first popped up? So let's read the news here. So privacy has always been an important part of the crypto industry. Bitcoin's earliest adopters often thought of the system as truly private digital money. It wasn't until Mt. Gox went bust and Chainalysis was found to investigate where all those missing coins went that the illusion of anonymous transactions on Bitcoin was shattered. This was a tough lesson for many to learn and part of the impetus to develop different chains that put privacy first. Monero is one of the oldest of those projects, founded in 2014 and one of the most used. Although many people still use Bitcoin for transactions, they'd rather keep secret. Those that are truly concerned about privacy know that a permanent, immutable, and forever traceable blockchain is not the best option. That's fair. Monero keeps many of Bitcoin's best attributes, but essentially shields the addresses like Bitcoin. Monero had a fair launch, and at this point is developed by a diverse community. And I gotta tell you, like, if you don't hear much about Monero, they're busy. Like they're always at work. They're super legit. They're always on it. Yeah. Boston, thanks for the love, bro. Yeah, please like the stream. It really does help us get popped up on other people's feeds on the YouTube browser. So hook it up for the homies. So Monero's dope is the point here. And it catches a lot of heat because there are people who use it to do things they shouldn't be doing with privacy. But like, let's not demonize privacy just because someone uses it. Let's not demonize a chef's knife just because some crazy person stabbed someone with it, right? Like, they're used for cooking.
Right.
It's used for preserving life and feeding people. It's not always used for killing people. It can be used for that. It shouldn't be used for that. But that doesn't mean knives are the problem, right? Let's be clear here. So, Justin Ehrenhofer, the vice president of operations at Cake Wallet, is one of the most prominent Monero backers. He found the Monero cryptocurrency. I think that means founded. Oh no, maybe he didn't find it. Wow. After developing an interest in cryptography and online data security while growing up gay in the not always friendly Midwest, he's one of the sharpest minds on the crypto Twitter regarding privacy and is a board member for an organization that pays grants to people maintaining a public payment system. CoinDesk caught up with, I don't know why him being gay is even relevant here, but it's said, and so I read it. CoinDesk caught up with Ehrenhofer ahead of consensus, where he's scheduled to talk about policy in a Tornado Cash world. We cover the state of global privacy regulations, the beef between Zcash and Monero on the streets, these streets, as well as the technical debt that later has accrued over the years. These streets. I mean, I'm weird today. What are the topics you think are undercovered or underexplored in crypto? I think there are several areas that are underexplored. The industry is massive now. People can specialize in anything from token economics to compliance. If you're working in a very niche field, you probably always feel like that particular thing is underreported. For instance, I tend to think that privacy is underreported. Did you have an aha moment when you realized the importance of privacy? I arguably did. In high school, I needed to use Tor in order to bypass firewall restrictions on, this is why it's relevant, on my network about LGBT content. Back then, and possibly still now, a bunch of the family filters would block that type of content. That got me interested in privacy at a very early age. When I heard about Bitcoin, I just thought it would be very interesting to combine money and privacy. My first private payment was when I used cash to buy a Walmart gift card, which I used to redeem for a VPN back in 2013 or so. That's actually pretty interesting. So that's funny. Where do you think the privacy debate is heading in 2023, especially considering Tornado Cash? I think each country is going to do its own different thing. Of course, the United States actions are going to have the most influence, but there are going to be some jurisdictions that will try to ban anything they consider to be privacy-enhancing tools completely. The international body that discuss anti-money laundering probably won't oppose bans. Other jurisdictions may try to redefine what money transmission is to cover a broader scope. And there's going to be misses along the way. I hope that in the United States, we continue to have clear lines of what transmission is so people, when they need to register and know specifically what activities apply. Yeah, that's fair. There's probably a balanced approach here, but um, I probably have a more extreme view than a lot of people might hold. I think that privacy, you have a right to privacy, period. Unless someone like reasonably suspects you of a crime constitutionally, like they
Right.
need a warrant and there's full due process. And so I really don't like this whole Patriot Act approach of like,
Right.
hey, everyone is guilty until proven innocent, and we can spy on you and look at your data no matter what.
Right.
And if we find anything, you're screwed. I don't like that approach. And even like everyone's doing taxes right now. So even that approach, I'm not sure I like, of like, hey, you need to tell us how much money you made and how much money you needed to pay us. But if you don't tell us, we'll find out and we'll fine you a whole bunch of money. It'll be a problem for you. It's like,
Incriminate yourself once a year.
yeah, it's like, hold up. So why am I doing this work then? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's bully behavior in my opinion. But either way, I'm really interested to see if AI is going to do taxes at some point, because that might actually be kind of nice to be like, well, my AI did it, not the government's AI.
I was about to say, whose AI are we using here?
No. One thing I really hope for, as well as regulation as enforcement, is less often done on an optic basis. Whether an asset is considered by optics to be a privacy coin or not, that's generally pretty arbitrary. So what's the role of private money? Is it always going to be niche? I don't want it to be niche. That if it's continuously pushed to the side, that we're going to lose important parts of our identity. Most practically, I worry that less private money, something where third party has high degrees of control over it, like a CBDC, or some government or regulators will be politicized. And this whole idea is like, if you don't vote for the right person, your money will be attacked. They'll basically hassle you. We don't want to see that on either side of any political debate. We want money to be demilitarized, where people just are in possession of their own things and they mind their own business, right?
Money should not be a tool to enforce right think either way. It doesn't matter which direction your political opinions are. We are not interested in seeing money used for, hey, you don't agree with me, you can't now buy food.
Yeah.
Not
right.
Cool.
Yeah, exactly. So I appreciate that he's really going over that. Privacy, it needs to be there, period. And it's better to have it, not need it, than to need it and not have it, right?
Right. Absolutely.
And so over the last decade, are there design decisions that you would have made differently from Monero? Monero as a network, when it launched in 2014, was totally different from the network today. It did not hide things like amounts. Ring signatures were very poorly implemented. They initially tried to dominate amounts being spent, and that was best described as a disaster. Privacy is a very complicated thing to do well, and it was awful. So that was learned pretty early on to switch from that type of system, and that type of mindset has really stayed with Monero. If I was to relaunch Monero today or reboot the ethos of Monero today on a separate blockchain, it would be very convenient to get rid of a lot of the technical debt that has accrued over time. And by the way, technical debt, just so everyone's familiar with the term, it means that we did something as a break fix. We did something to shortcut and just stop the bleeding instead of doing something right the first time. And so the problem is when you do something just to make it work, but it's not the right way to do it, you have to redo your work multiple times. And that stacks up on you to where you actually have to expend a lot of effort just to get your system where it needs to be in the first place. Right. So it's one of those things where a shortcut becomes a long cut. You don't want to play that game. It's better for things just to take a little bit longer to do it right the first time. In a lot of cases, there is a time to just do what many people refer to as a swag. Just basically get a draft, a paper mache kind of setup going, but that should be proof of concept. That shouldn't be your production. right? That proof of concept is not the same as minimal viable product. Okay, proof of concept means the function works. Minimal viable product means this is the least amount of configuration needed to have this be a publicly released project. That's different, right? Things being put in a test environment versus things being put in a production environment. They're not the same thing. So, yeah, it has pretty messy code at this point. There are some efforts to rewrite portions of it in advance of the next large comprehensive change that's currently being proposed, but has not been accepted by most people. So, like we were talking about with all those IT jobs and whatnot, you can go in and help Monero clean up some of this messy code and offer contributions. And if people are like, "Yo, this is actually a good contribution," it may be voted in and actually forked into the code, the production Monero code, and you can be part of the legacy of that blockchain. So, yeah, that was the main thing I wanted to cover with that specific project. There's a lot more to this article if you're interested in reading it in full. It's on CoinDesk. Privacy preserving payments shouldn't be niche. Monero contributor Justin Ehrenhoff says. So hope that was interesting to you. If it wasn't, you can flame me in the chat. That's cool. Yeah. So Gary Barry Jerry Gensler. Blasted by House Republicans over a lack of Bankman-Fried details. Let's talk about this SBF guy again, huh?
Oh, boy.
Everyone loves talking about Sam Spankman-Fried. I sounded like the guy who plays Iago, huh?
Uh-huh.
Everyone knows Gilbert Godfrey talks like this. I'm bad. Securities and Exchange Commission chair Gary Jerry Barry Gensler is being threatened with a subpoena. Ouchie. It's a peen. If the regulator doesn't provide information related to charges brought against Sam Spankman-Fried. Scam Spankman. Wow.
The Cucumber King.
The Cucumber King. Suck it down all day. I suck down cookies all day, bro. House, I'm so... Why? Kids these days. House Financial Services Committee Chair Patrick McHenry and Bill, I can't even pronounce your name, Huizenga, maybe.
Close enough.
Good enough. The head of the committee oversight panel want the staff memo recommending charges for Bankman-Fried, as well as other information related to the charges filed by agencies against the failed crypto mogul, who's also been criminally charged by U.S. prosecutors. The Republicans first sent an inquiry on February 10th asking for more details on the lead up to Bankman-Fried's civil charges by the SEC and argue they've been stonewalled since then. Why? If the SEC does not provide information ahead of Gensler's scheduled appearance before their committee next week, they say they will consider a compulsory process to secure it, likely through a subpoena to the agency. Well, that's pushy. That's a little pushy. Why are you being pushy, guy? The congressional probe relates to the timing of Bankman-Fried's arrest, which occurred the night before he had agreed to testify before the House committee alongside caretaker FTX CEO John Ray III in December. Both Democrats and Republicans on the committee voiced frustrations at the time over losing a chance to grill Spankman-Fried. Scam Spankman. Particularly after the high-profile negotiation to secure his appearance before the committee, which does not have the ability to compel non-governmental witnesses to testify. Okay, I see you.
Wow.
Basically, they it's like, not my monkey, not my circus, right? Ignoring the deadline, the SEC actively impeded committee staff from discussing the request with anyone in the office of the general counsel until Chairman Huizenga, I think I got it right, Huizenga, formally requested a conversation with the SEC's general counsel. Their letters to the SEC reads, "The subsequent staff level conversations have yet to yield any of the requested documents." It's kind of how I imagine it reads.
Very British.
Yeah.
Very American
Well,
politics.
they're acting pretty British right here. I'm gonna throw your tea in the water. You know, salt tea.
Yeah.
So communications related to scam Spankman-Fried. Republicans claim that the SEC chair and his staff have failed to produce the information they've requested, which include all communications in the SEC's enforcement division related to Bankman-Fried from the time of the FTX collapse to his indictment, as well as records related to communications between the agency and Justice Department related to their coordination on civil and criminal charges filed against Bankman-Fried. The latest letter from McHenry and Huizenga sent Thursday details a briefing by the SEC staff in 232 pages of yawnfest of publicly available documents that the Financial Services Committee members say lacked the details they want. The congressional Republicans continue to push for the memo recommending civil charges against Bankman-Fried, which could also provide more details on the timing of that complaint, as well as the criminal charges brought against the FTX and Alameda Research owner. McHenry and Huizenga have set a new deadline for the SEC to provide its charging recommendation memo by 5 p.m. Eastern on April 17th, so next Monday. The evening before SEC Chair Jerry Gensler will testify before the House committee that the Republicans sit on. Failure to produce the requested information could result in the committee considering using compulsory processes if necessary to obtain the requested information. So basically, they're gonna get nasty if they don't get it, is what they're saying. The pair say in the letter, threatening to subpoena the memo if the SEC does not provide that information. So, what does this mean? I don't know. It basically means they're getting crappy, making sure that they get the information they need for SBF. So, someone might be covering up details is kind of what I pick up from that. Yeah.
Well, my opinion, we are here on Friday, Conspiracy Friday. Conspiracy hats for sure. The timing seems very odd that the days before Sam Bankman-Fried was about to testify before the committee for his charges, all of a sudden the SEC comes out with this charge and now he can't talk about anything. So it's just really, really odd, the timing at the very least. So I think that's the reason they're trying to get this memo at this point, because something doesn't smell right here. Something seems really wrong with this timing.
Yeah, and we know like the types of people who were involved in the whole SBF matter. There's like Hillary Clinton type people. Yeah. So it's like who knows what's under the hood on that one? Who knows, man? Who knows? Cobug, true story, says Endo. What's up, boy? So let's cover some fun news, shall we? So Bitcoinist reports here Solana launches a Saga smartphone to compete with Apple and Google. Pretty cool. How much does it cost? That's pretty important, because if it's too much, no, I'm not buying that crap, please. Let's read the news. So where does it freaking start, though? The company behind the development of blockchain, Solana Labs, announced the launch of its long-awaited mobile phone Saga. The announcement took place in a live event conducted by its mobile division. The mobile era of Web3 begins now. Saga, the flagship security-conscious, crypto-first Android device from Solana Mobile, is now available. A gateway to new experiences, not just on mobile, but for mobile. Mobile first. Mobile first is a buzzword in programming, by the way.
Yep.
It's what would they say? SOMO, there's acronyms. So how Solana will take Web3 to a new era with Saga smartphone. According to the announcement, the Saga smartphone was created to compete with its competitors' flagship products. These include Apple's iPhone, Google Pixel, Samsung Galaxy, and other products in this highly competitive sector. The smartphone was announced in 2022 and will be available for pre-order next May for $1,000. Oh, wow. I mean, Google Pixels, and there's a lot of phones that cost like that. That's not super out of the line.
Yeah, when I bought my Samsung, it was $1,200, so it's not.
Yeah,
not crazy.
It's not too crazy.
No.
It's not too good, not too bad. It's something.
Right.
Solana Mobile stated that the following about Saga, dubbed the first crypto smartphone built on Android operating system. When we started this journey over a year ago, we wanted to modernize how people interact with digital assets for the sake of usability and increased security. Well, that's good. We
Like
decided
security.
security.
Mhm.
We decided that we needed to start with an incredible phone, every bit as good as anything else on the market. The results, I'm sure it meant this results in a sleek and beautiful design flagship Android phone with premium components, like your mom. Osam, a privacy-focused tech company, built Saga. The Solana smartphone features a Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen mobile platform, which aims at providing the user with speed to conduct several tasks in combination with an integrated security element. So basically, it has a ledger built on. The same types of chips that are inside of a ledger are built directly onto this phone, is what that means. A feature called the OSOM Seed Vault. So it's a ledger built onto a smartphone, which is cool. Um, in addition, Saga will ship a high performance chip, good, and 512 gigs of storage, good, packed under a 6.67, good size, OLED screen with a 120 hertz refresh rate. That's pretty. The battery can hold a 4,000 milliamp charge, also good, which kept the phone running for hours. Some stated the following about the smartphone. So you will get trusted vanilla Android 13. I like that it's vanilla. That means there's no bloatware on it. Features like our patented Seed Vault, which brings crypto self-custody to your pocket in a way no one has ever done before. Well, we'll see about that. That means you can sign transactions on device with the ease and familiarity of biometric security. And Solana's decentralized app store gives you access to all blockchain-powered services you need, in addition to Google Play Store. So my guess on this is they're intending to increase the amount of like adoption for Solana apps just because it's easy to use right there. That's cool. I think that's good for Solana, but I asked Solana actually moves their infrastructure to being properly decentralized, not just distributed, before they worry about this type of crap. But who knows? Maybe it's relevant. Maybe it's relevant. So yeah, how's the security on it? As far as the security chip on it, my guess is it's just as good as a ledger chip might be, but we haven't looked into the actual chip itself, so unknown if it's tit for tat. But typically, those types of security devices are there's a chip that has a private key. The chip itself is encrypted, and you can't easily get into it. It encrypts encryption typically, and so
Dirty shovel.
Yeah, so good for dirty shovel gang, but I don't know, man. I'm kind of okay having like a ledger in my phone on the side. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that caused Solana to pump a little bit. So we'll see what happens and keep up as that gets closer to May. That's next month, right? So, and then the last thing I wanted to cover, because we're really short on time here, and I'll do this quickly, is Arizona governor vetoes a bill banning local taxes and fees on crypto mining. So that's really good. They're banning local taxes and fees on crypto mining. So this is dope. Katie Hobbs is crushing it as far as crypto legislation goes. So it aims to prevent local governments from taxing crypto mining operations. And that's good too, because Arizona's got a ton of solar. So solar is actually more practical in that area. So there's just desert. You can just throw huge arrays and it's not a big deal. So let's look here. So the bill prevents local policy making concerning an emerging and potentially energy intensive economic activity. She added that the bill fails to engage with local stakeholders, as such, her veto could allow for finer regulations of crypto mining. So we'll keep an eye on where this specific matter develops, but a lot of states are starting to do really interesting legislative things to attract crypto miners to them. And then you have some states like New York that are clearly trying to collapse their own economy and
stamp down on them. Yeah.
It makes no sense, man. So yeah, Gandhi with the love. Hey, sleepy eyes, you're still good here, So thank you so much for joining me and the Code Bug here, filling in for Jaime on Crypto and Coffee. I'm sorry I don't have a dual mic set up to show him more love and respect than that, but it is what it is. Isn't he handsome? By the way, he's single and eligible and a very wise, funny, and godly man. So if any woman is single and interested, you let me know and I'll connect you. But until next time, girl. What's up? What's up? Keep calm and huddle on. We'll be back on Monday, same time as always. And yeah, let's play them out, guys. Let's play them out. Let's do a little dancing, hey? Do a little dancing situation. It's gonna be super awkward, but you know, you gotta do it. You gotta do it. You know.
Dancing.
Cardboard's the coolest thing ever made by paper. You can dance on cardboard. He's a madman. Why?